Yeah, I'm just kind of having some fun here. And today's video is called Syncopation, the Magic of Al Dimeola. This is a huge subject. Al Dimeola is a great guitar player. More importantly, he's a great composer. And at 64, I believe he is. He's doing some of his best composing ever. I've been watching the video on YouTube of him playing nylon string. It's just incredible. I love the Latin thing. I love the way he plays and writes. And I've been following him for a long time. I prefer his acoustic work. But anyway, this is a difficult video to do. And I showed a video a while back trying to kind of throw people or lean people into an Al Di Meola style by learning to do this type of scale work where you do 7 and 5 like. Because a huge part of Al Di Meola's compositional soul, or spirit if you will, is that he really creates a very interesting rhythmic tension. It's not just about always melodies and chords and things like that. Of course, melody is a huge part of it, obviously, but he used to be a drummer, and I can just tell he used to do all those drum rudiments and whatnot. So he brings a rhythmic approach. Kind of reminds me if you take a rubber band and stretch it, and then while it's stretched, kind of tug on it a little bit and continue to kind of mess with the rhythmic pulse, because you can take like a great drummer like Steve Gadd, who kind of knows how to lay back and really groove. Some people use the term dig in a ditch as a great drummer. Like when I worked on my CD with Ian Keane, he had done a lot of engineering and producing for Ricky Lawson, who toured with Clapton and Michael Jackson and Steely Dan. Ricky was a great drummer. But there's a component to creating rhythmic tension and learning how to kind of, get some interplay with that, as opposed to always being, on the beat. Syncopation is your kind of messing with that. So one of the good things to do is to, and that's why I say I kind of hear that in Al Di Meola's compositions. In fact, he's really interesting. He'll get a little theme going, and then he'll start making subtle changes. He'll have other people in the band do the same theme while he does a counter melody over it. He gets this kind of counterpoint going. But a big part of it is the rhythmic tension and the way he kind of is able to get that interesting syncopation going. So it's kind of a tricky thing to explain to people how to develop it, but I think the best way would be learning how to kind of pick melodies out of a major scale and just start to build melodies. Like if I just go like here, and throw in those 7s and 5s like. Do the 7s with the mute. Or without the mute. But you can kind of get that Al Di Meola style by doing things like this. And like I said, kind of try to improvise with notes of the major scale and build small little melodies, Tap your foot. See here. Against. So you can break that down and practice doing simple things like, say you're doing 8th notes, and then maybe think of it as a triplet. Leave out the first note of the triplet. So like, here's the triplet, one end, leave out the first, one end, 2. But that's what's fun about it, because like, so I guess my suggestion here is build melodies off of you can pick any major scale. Here I'm just doing notes of a G scale, and then build a little melody. So little things like that, things like so I mean, you can work and play with syncopation. My suggestion is build some melodies out of just the simple notes like this of a G major scale. Maybe play with these ideas. But try to build little melodies off notes of the major scale. Maybe use the sevens once in a while. So I guess what I'm saying here is sometimes lead your composition. This is funny because this is completely opposite of what I usually tell people. I don't think I think technique shouldn't dominate a composition, and I see that a lot with people who do a lot of tapping and stuff and alter tunings, and that stuff's cool, but I feel like sometimes it tends to overshadow and more of what, it dominates the composition too much. It should be a tool to use, not dominate the competition, or composition, I mean to say. But here, what I'm talking about with kind of an Al Dimeola style is letting the rhythm and the different pulse of syncopation kind of lead the composition a little bit. Because I know if I'm thinking Al Dimeola, I'm going to play these notes completely different than if I'm thinking Joe Pass. I'm thinking, right? Or if I'm thinking Pat Martino. I'm thinking completely different. So, but with Al Dimeola, he tends to add this rhythmic tension to it, this syncopation, this magic syncopation. And boy, his writing at 64, I think he's composing just as good, if not better, than he ever has. I love the way he'll do a theme, and then maybe somebody else in the band will play it, at the same time, or play it later while he's doing another counter melody. And I think his composing is brilliant. I think Al Dimeola is a real composer. He's not just a great guitar player. He's a real composer. I love his Latin thing that he does on this video I've been watching on YouTube with Ortiz and that really great accordion player from Italy. I think it's Fausto. I forget the last name, but man, the guy's great. The whole band is just unbelievable, and everybody's so polished it just sparkles. But anyway, so that's my suggestion for beginning to develop kind of an Al Dimeola style, is take the notes of like a major scale and just start building little, building little melodies. Here I'm doing the 7. I'm not real warmed up. This is hard to do. And build little melodies. You could, like I do an intervallic, like say if I do something like this, I'm thinking more like a Steve Howe or Eric Johnson approach. Right? Whereas if I was doing that in Al Dimeola style, it would be more rhythmic and more syncopated, like. So it's working with the rhythmic tension. Like if I go. So you can just kind of pull notes and experiment. They could be very simple melodies like here. that's why I suggested a while back to practice those scales with the 7s, 5, 7, 5, so that you can begin to get that rhythmic, tension. So again, this is a tricky video to do, but I think the best point I can make right now is that approach it with more rhythm and syncopation. Look for little melodies. They can be simple, like maybe once in a while. And you can use this idea. It's been really hot down here by the beach, and I think guitar necks have been tweaking a lot. But anyway, this is kind of an idea. Maybe I'm not warmed up enough. There we go. Apologize for that. Takes me a good hour to warm up, and I just don't have much time, so I've only played about 15-20 minutes. But yeah, and then you can take little ideas he does like this. He'll take a melody and work it. Maybe go into a double triplet. He loves double triplets, and you can practice those with the accent. The tricky thing, though, is working this kind of stuff into a composition. So that's why I'm suggesting you just work with some small melodies. And like I said, this simple idea of doing borrowing the two, that really, or like this, kind of throws you into that idea. But like I said, just pick some notes. Don't even worry if it doesn't sound, I know this sounds really crazy, but you gotta, according to the science of neuroplasticity, and a lot of my guitar ladder system is based on the best way to see the subconscious mind to learn, is you have to allow yourself to play and experiment. So if I'm trying to find melodies within a G major scale or a mode, I just look at it as a major scale. It's really important not to be too judgmental. So if you do something that doesn't sound good, it's okay. But I like to work intervals, like this idea. And then try to mix that. Mix that up with the syncopation, doing the 7s, the 5s. So anyway, this is, I'll do more videos about this. It's a very difficult subject, but I think the main, let me just summarize my point here, which is look for melodies in like a simple major scale, then find ways to syncopate those melodies, to add rhythmic pulse, to add syncopation to it, like repeating notes, doing little melodies, and then adding, double triplets, mixing it up, maybe doing, slowing it down. Little melodies, and then go back to the simple melody. So anyway, have fun with that. I'm going to do some more on this because I'm really fascinated with, really like his stuff. So have fun with that. I'm going to do a lot more videos on this because I'm fascinated with him as a player. I've followed him followed him and John McLaughlin and Paco de Lucia for a long time. They all have such an interesting approach. But yeah, the rhythmic thing, you can even do, you could do one string, one or two string. I'm kind of got an idea kind of brewing in my head. But yeah, taking one or two, I think he's talked about this in videos, taking one or two or three strings, working some melodies with some rhythm. Play with it, man. All right, I'll be doing more about this. I appreciate you tuning in. And the guitar ladder system really works, folks. It's a revolution. It really is a revolutionary approach, result of 40 years of hard work and taking a quantum leap and learning how to seed your subconscious mind, cooperating with the science of neuroplasticity, which just basically states that if you approach learning in the right way, it greatly accelerates the process. So you don't insult your mind, you feed your mind. Ciao.